When someone from a white nationalist group is taken out by someone from a different white nationalist group, that could actually be called gang violence.
Can we stop, for once, at least, maybe in our nation's history, stop trying to blame white on white crime on black people? Can we stop it for once, at least, please? Like, we all knew when Charlie Kirk was killed. We knew. We knew who this was going to be. We knew who the suspect was going to be, a young white man. We knew it. And yet, some people tried to spin this to say it was something else. And now threats are being lobbied against black students at universities. Black HBCUs are being threatened to be blown up. I think 4 of them had to shut down yesterday and today because they had to deal with bomb threats. It was never them. It's never been the black community. We always blame anybody else but ourselves. But the call is coming from inside the house. We are the problem. White on white crime, we are the problem. We have always been the problem. So let's, for once, stop trying to blame somebody else and look inward and try to address the actual problems that we are the ones creating upon ourselves. Anyway, thank you so much. Have a great day.
It's time this country does something about this white-on-white crime wave that's gripping America, and I'll give you 3 things about it. Thing number 1, the receipts are in the numbers. The moment the Charlie Kirk news broke, anyone who knows America's history of violence had the same thought. According to the FBI and the Justice Department, 81% of violent crimes committed against white people are committed by white people. And according to the Rockefeller School of Government, 55% of mass shooters are white. That is a criminal profile we are not paying close enough attention to. Thing number 2, the media lies to you for profit. Corporate outlets like CNN and Fox News rake in billions, fueling imaginary fears. The dark-hooded immigrant, the gun-toting black gang member. This keeps white America terrified so that they can sell you gold coins, laundry detergent, and survival kits. But here's the truth. The Cato Institute found that undocumented immigrants are 26 times less likely than native-born Americans to be convicted of violent crimes like homicide. The fear they sell you isn't just unfounded, it's a con designed to keep you scared and spending. Thing number 3, white folk, the call is coming from inside the house. The overwhelming majority points to one conclusion, that white people are most at risk from other white people. The shooters in school, the domestic terrorists, the suburban mass killer. They don't look like the caricatures the media is peddling. They look like your classmates, your coworkers, your neighbors. Until America is ready to confront that reality, we'll keep watching tragedies mount while we're blaming the wrong people. This isn't about immigration. This isn't about the inner cities. There is no trans agenda. The real crime wave in America is white on white crime, and ignoring it has deadly consequences. But what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments.
So first we had the Robin Westman incident in Minnesota with unloading on a Catholic school church. And just a couple hours ago, we just had Charlie Kirk get on the live during his speech at the University of Utah. And we may not know who the suspect is for the Charlie Kirk unaliving, but what we do know is, out in Utah, there's not a lot of folks who look like me. Honestly, I think we made a mistake. I think we might have deployed the National Guard into the wrong communities. Maybe we should deploy them into these white suburban communities. They look like they need it more than us. What y'all think? These white on white crimes are just getting out of hand.
Hello everyone and welcome to this channel. I hope you're all doing good. For many decades, America has been told a story that crime has a face, and too often that face has been black. Yes, but what if the real picture has been deliberately distorted? What if the greatest crime wave gripping America isn't being committed by the people who they think? This is the story of white on white crime and how it's been buried under layers of denial. It has been buried under layers of distraction and deliberate deflection. So guys, let's start with the obvious. Crime is not exclusive to any one race, but in the United United States, the media, the politicians, and even law enforcement have painted a very particular picture that crime is synonymous with blackness. So guys, let's just get into this video. I'll be coming back with more commentaries. In case of any thoughts, kindly let me know in the comment section. Of course, all credit belongs to the original creators of the video. Thank you so much. Let's get into this.
Charlie! What on the white crime is going on here? ¿Qué pasó? What happened? Well, he did say in order to protect the right to bear arms, some people just gon' have to die. So I guess you can say he went out in a way that he wanted to, right? Can you imagine fighting, going to war, fighting tooth and nail for the very thing that takes you out? Wow. Imagine that. And to add insult to injury, the orange man with the wig go ask everyone to lower the American flags halfway instead of passing legislation to get this shit under control. Doing everything but fixing the problem. One thing I learned about America, y'all do know how to shoot. You do. Y'all just keep missing the orange man with the wig on purpose. Y'all, that's why y'all keep doing that on purpose, but y'all do know how to shoot. I'm understanding that y'all do know how to shoot.
Somebody get the National Guard of Utah. All this white on white violence. Apparently, this was not a false alarm. This was not Trump's ear. This was a man with a wife and kids who got killed in Mormon country. The land that Joseph Smith believed would become the New Jerusalem, where white men would have spiritual authority. Charlie Kirk wasn't a Mormon, but he believed
Christians, our sacrifice, our toil, our vision, the outgrowth of the scriptures gave us Western civilization.
But the Old Testament was in the Arab world, Israel, Judah, Babylon. And the New Testament was in Roman-occupied Palestine, Syria, Egypt. Christianity first spread through North Africa, and it was there for centuries before it got to Europe. Long story short, white men have never had any spiritual authority under the Bible. But Charlie Kirk and his following came out of this false sense of white manhood, and they used it to promote a violent world, with white men on top and those they colonized in their place. But if they had been in their Bibles, they would have read Proverbs chapter 30, verse 6. The Bible says, "Do not add to his words, lest he rebuke you and you be found a liar." So is he a martyr or a heretic?
Now that we know that the Charlie Kirk incident wasn't just white on white crime, but conservative on conservative crime, are all the liberals who spent the last several days yelling at everybody else, demanding that we all show empathy and cry and how dare we not be upset because people shouldn't be hurt for their political ideologies, are y'all gonna actually learn from this and apologize? Or are you gonna just do what you do every other time anyone else has their life stolen, which is just ignore it and keep on keeping on? I'm hoping for at least some type of acknowledgement of the threats made towards HBCUs and how the response to what happened to Charlie Kirk was to automatically threaten innocent black students who were nowhere near the vicinity. While everybody was going on and on about how nobody should be hurt for their ideologies and we should have empathy for human life and blah, 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 it was crickets on the HBCUs. And I'd like to hear an apology, but I know that's not in everybody's wheelhouse. But the realization that what happened to Charlie Kirk happened, A, because white online trolls are actually a dangerous demographic who don't take anything seriously, and B, because he's leaning slightly more leftist in terms of the fact that he acknowledges what was happening in Gaza is actually a bad thing. That should be a wake-up call for y'all, right? And the fact that before knowing this information, y'all's automatic response was to start scolding all of the marginalized identities that Charlie Kirk spent his whole life tearing down. This has got to be some eye-opening epiphanies for you all, right? Somewhere in there you're oh, maybe we actually should listen to black people and marginalized identities the way that we said we were, or oh, maybe I don't actually care about life the way I thought I did, something. Probably not, right? You'll go back and ignore this the same way that you ignored several mass shootings, especially school shootings, the way that you ignored all the crises in Palestine and Sudan and Congo up until the last second humanly possible, the same way that you ignored the shooting of 2 Minnesota politicians, resulting in the death of 1, right? There's no more space for you to try to flex that moral high ground, and you guys don't actually feel like doing the work of growing as people. So you're just going to ignore it instead of learning. Pity.
No way for Republicans to spin this one. This is white on whiter crime and red on redder crime. And all my videos are getting removed because of this. But our side doesn't need a distraction from the Epstein book. We don't need a distraction from the fact that Charlie Kirk was switching his stance on Israel and Trump. And this isn't us. This is Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson saying it. So you guys are freaking the fuck out. And I get it. Kush Patel got in trouble yesterday for saying too much. And Utah's governor said the quiet part out loud when he said, I hoped he was one of us. Trump forgot about his I'm friends with Charlie Kirk script yesterday, proving that Candace Owens was right. And she said more on live stream than anybody yesterday. And I'm honestly a little worried for her. But Republicans don't watch her because, you know, they don't like black. You know what I mean? So the whole thing is outrageous. I'm pleading with Republicans to watch Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens now because they're just saying the truth. They were friends with Charlie, so they know what was happening. But either way, and shout out to all the Republicans that were exposing that AI video yesterday and all the glitches in the fingers and the teeth. People were calling me crazy until that became a Republican trend. Republicans that don't follow the news aren't even thinking twice about the fact that Trump and Netanyahu are doing press tours over this in order to control the narrative. What? They're not even your president. They're not leading the country. They're on news stations. Do you guys get that though? Republicans are froze right now across the country. They're just hoping for a different motive. They're hoping that Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson are wrong. And they don't even know that the Jerusalem Post was the first news outlet to post about this. They wouldn't even care either. I mean, yesterday I went from being a trans Muslim black terrorist to another suburban kid with a future and a family. You see how fast that turns? And again, we can't say he was militarized by his nation and his church's concealed history, right? We can't say that's what's happening to all the people that look like me. Whether that's the church's endless need for sacrifices, our political movement's endless need for martyrs, or our military's endless need for forever wars, right? And we definitely can't say that all three have used poor white kids for centuries to keep colonialism in a never-ending industrial revolution that's climaxed in an uncanny obsession with glamorizing war for kids in Marvel movies and glamorizing our colonial era racism and misogyny in horror movies for adults. I do white kids who grow up in Republican pro-gun households have to take their, dad's gun out all the time and shoot it at strangers. Because again, this is a completely us issue. This is not controversial to say. Does that have anything to do with the fact that all the HBCUs were shut down yesterday? Even NYU over threats to black students. Do you know why? Charlie's supporters were accusing black people of the murder because Charlie said black people were better off under slavery and black women didn't have enough brain processing power to be taken seriously. So they naturally thought that it was them, right? His overt hatred for black people made them the threat even after he died. Can you imagine the privilege and power needed for that to happen? It almost proves that none of this is political, right? This is one giant race class war. We can have one moment of honesty on these apps before they're gone. That's why we don't care about the 18,000 other gun deaths that happen in America. That's why we don't care about the 300 bullets that were shot at one 6-year-old in the Middle East. If we can just please be honest, right? It takes one bullet in the first world to get Dean Withers in good trouble to cry on live for donations to their fans that look and think like Charlie Kirk. I'm sorry. They took down the Suspect song. No one's letting me sing anymore. They just want me to talk. Art is dead.
Not again. Not again, America. There was a shooting at the Naval Yard. Americans. Oh my God. This white on white violence. Oh my God. It's destroying America. Oh my God. Go right ahead. Go ahead. I just don't know what I'm going to do in America. Oh my God damn it. Oh. Pray for America, people. Pray this white on white violence stops. Because it's destroying America. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, guys, thank you for being with me. Yeah, so from the crack epidemic to stop and frisk policies, the black communities have been over-policed. They have always been incarcerated and over-blamed, all while white communities were quietly committing similar or worse crimes out of the spotlight. So here is what the data actually says, that most crime is intraracial. That means people commit crimes against members of their own race. Just like most crime is against black victims, the majority, most black crime is against black communities. The majority of violent crimes committed by white people are against other white people. Yes. So why don't we hear the term white on white crime? Why is it not a national talking point? Because it doesn't fit the narrative that justifies mass incarceration, aggressive policing, and racial profiling. Think about the last time a mass shooter was white, and how often did the media rush to ask, was he mentally ill? Did he have a hard childhood? But when the suspect is black, suddenly it's about gangs, violence, or fatherlessness. Yeah, imagine what has happened right now about Charlie Kirk's pew-pewing. I'm telling you, this the boy who shot Charlie Kirk, huh? That is someone who has a dad. Yeah, and the dad is one of the members of the police force. Yes, so white criminals get excuses, black victims get criminal records pulled, and this is not just bias; it is a strategy. This warped narrative has real world consequences. Black Americans are incarcerated at 5 times the rate of white Americans, even though drug use rates are almost identical. Yeah, so this is not about individual racism. It's about systemic power, deciding who gets punished, who gets protected, and who gets erased from the story. Yes, so let's turn the mirror. Let's talk about white on white crime. Let's talk about the domestic violence, the white collar fraud, school shootings, the opioid trafficking, crimes happening in white communities that are committed by white people but rarely racialized. This is not about blaming white people. It's about balance. It's about holding a mirror to the lies we've been told and telling the truth even when it makes people uncomfortable. Yeah, so that is what happens. For too long, black communities have carried that burden of a crime narrative they didn't create. Yes, that has happened. It's time to shatter the myth and tell the full story. Yes, if you are ready to challenge what you've been taught, if you believe in truth, if you believe in fairness and accountability, then this conversation isn't just necessary, it's overdue. Yes. So guys, let me know your take. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, because the truth doesn't go viral unless we make it. Yes. So when you control the narrative, you control the justice. Yeah. Just as people in this video have said. Thank you so much for watching. Of course, all credit belongs to the original creators of the video. This video is meant for educational purposes and commentary purposes as well. Thank you so much and have a nice time.